Hey, Wells. Hey, how are you today? It's your girl, LaShonda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Always excited to share things you can do to work on your money, your marketing, and your sales goals too, with strategy and intention. Yes! Today, we are going to continue our kiss conversation around keeping it seriously simple for my overwhelmed entrepreneurs. We're on day number 5. So I figured I would share with you a 5-point push productivity plan, right? But of course, before we get there, let me start here and say welcome back to my OGs and welcome to my newbies. I've been doing this for over 2 decades now as an infopreneur, web designer, and mentor to entrepreneurs looking for smart strategies when it comes to building their best business. So if you're new to me, feel free to, of course, turn on alerts and notifications so you can see when I'm live, so you can jump on here live with me. If you're catching me on the replay side, of course, you can drop into the comment box, hashtag replays rock. So let's dig into KISS conversations around your productivity today. Let's have a good time. Feel free to tag your business besties and share this out because, of course, sharing is caring, and that's what it's all about. So, I want to talk to you about a couple of things when it comes to productivity. Right now, for me, PUSH is one of my favorite acronyms, which stands for PUSH, pursue until success happens. You want to be successful. You cannot procrastinate. You cannot overcomplicate the process. What you got to do is push, right? So let's talk about what that means when it comes to productivity. Point number 1 is for you to look at tasks versus projects. Okay, this is a big one. If you find that you are overwhelmed and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many projects on my plate, I've got a super full plate. What we want to do is to break down those big elephantastic projects into micro tasks that you can realistically complete. Like, say, for example, you go, well, one of my biggest projects is that I've been sitting on this book for a very long time, right? We think about this thing, this vision, and all the pieces, all the bells and whistles that we want it to include, and it becomes heavy and overwhelming, right? So let's break it down, right? They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, as opposed to looking at that big, overly overwhelming project. Break it into tasks. I'll give you an example. That book project, right? How about you think about, okay, well, a couple of tasks I have to do. I have to come up with my title. I have to actually write the content. So maybe I can just focus on writing 2 chapters here, 3 chapters there. I have to come up with my cover design or work with my editor or, find a template that I can use. By the way, I have some awesome, easy ebook templates over at sistersense.com/EEC. Want to check those out from yours truly. Side note, but just kind of itemizing the different things that you have to do to get that project off the ground, right? So one thing that you can do when it comes to productivity is to think about your bigger projects, break them down into smaller tasks, and focus on those, which brings me to point number 2, which is today versus someday. Let me tell you something. There are 7 days in the week, and someday is not one of them. Let me say that again because somebody needs me to say that again. There are 7 days in a week, and someday is not one of them. Now, that is going to resonate with you if putting things off is something that you do quite often, right? When it comes to moving forward, you find yourself holding yourself back, right? Which means that what you want to be able to do when it comes to productivity is to identify what can you do today, right? So when I said point 1, first, take some of those bigger projects and break them down into smaller tasks. Point 2 is really looking at what you can do today versus someday. Like, oh, okay, praying for the time to get that free time to do X, Y, and Z. What can you possibly start today, right? Start, sis. Start, bro. Come on, start. Right. Thinking about that as productivity step number 2. Number 3 for me is all about the ETs. ETs. I'm a type A entrepreneur. I give and I give a little bit more and I give a little bit more because folks say that I'm extra, right? And maybe you extra too. And for those of us who are overthinkers and we're extra kind of a people, right? We oftentimes want to give everybody everything. We want to complete everything. We want to do everything. We want to have everything. And that can be very overwhelming. right? Where you feel like you are overthinking and underperforming. So, as opposed to you focusing on how can I give them, how can I deliver, how can I complete, how can I finish everything, let's focus on the essential things. The essential things, right? So yeah, I get entrepreneurs and they come to me and they say, man, LaShonda, I want to be where you are. I want to have courses, ebooks, membership website. I want to be a speaker. I want to have all of these things, everything. I want to have everything done. I get it, but let's start with one. Okay, maybe you say, okay, I'm going to start by writing my first 5 blog posts, because that's essential. I need to have my blog up. Well, I need to give people something. So let me make sure I can get this 20-page guide done. That's essential. I got to have something to give people, right? I've got to get the sign up page so they can actually sign up to the forum to get the product, that ebook, right? And then a blog where they can read. What are some of the essential things that you need to do? I was actually talking to one of my mentees who's currently participating in my Start and Grow 30-day challenge over at sistasense.com/SAGC. Literally the place to be if you want to know how to start and grow from zero when it comes to building your online business Sister Sense style. And she said to me, LaShonda, thank you so much. I am absolutely loving this. It's information packed. I feel a little bit behind because right now I'm on day 12 and I should be on day 14. And I said, you are not behind. You're not behind. Do this at your pace. Like, I know when you're a newpreneur, you want this, and you want a little bit more. And you feel this rushed feeling like I should have arrived yesterday, but you're just starting. Do it at your pace, because everything is going to happen in divine right timing, right? So I want you to think about that. You don't have to get everything done. What are those essential things, right? You can't get to 100 without one, right? What's the one? What's the two? What's the three? The essential foundational building block components that you need to be able to build forward with speed, right? So I want you to think about ET. That's point number 3. Number 4 for me is all about choosing calendars over chaos. Calendars over chaos. One of my favorite quotes is, you can run your day or let your day run you. That means that you've got to strategically know how to point you in the right direction, right? Think about that. When you're overwhelmed, where you feel like, there's so much to get done, you may find yourself kind of doing a lot of busy work or spending like 5 hours trying to figure out what to do, where you end up doing nothing, right? Remember, I said this is all about how to kiss, keep it seriously simple. Sometimes people overthink the process in a way that causes them to, again, overthink and underperform, right? And so because of that, I want you to be in a place where you can wake up with intention and you know what's supposed to happen. In order for you to know what's supposed to happen, you've got to have calendars in place, right? So you're like, okay, well, I know that this is due today. This is due 2 weeks from now. These are some calls. These are some events. These are some clients. These are some partnerships. These are some launches. This is when I'm going to be distributing this stuff on social media. This is when I'm going to be promoting this product. You got to have some calendars for yourself. Now, every month in my mastermind, funny enough, I have a different masterclass theme that I focused on. And this month's theme, because we're going into next month. So this month's theme that's already done in the mastermind, I talked about crazy good calendars, because folks are like, LaShonda, I need to figure out how to run my day. How do you do all this stuff? How do you do it with yourself without a team or a VA? I need to figure out how you're scheduling this stuff. And I shared in that experience the crazy good masterclass. It was 2 parts. Basically, my monthly calendars, my weekly calendars, my daily calendars, creating brand business traditions, and being intentional with that. And not honestly, I like my naps. I like my breaks. I'm not like hardcore in front of the computer 24/7. And to be honest with you, I even wrote an ebook. It's called, the 3-hour workday routine, like breaking up those bigger projects into tasks that you can work on in 3-hour intervals. So, for me, it's most important, of course, self-care, because again, if I'm not exhausted, I'm not at my best, right? It's so important to take naps and take breaks and integrate into your calendar what needs to happen when, right? And so that's important. And one of the things that I oftentimes recommend to people is not to find yourself constantly saying, I have to find the time, because you're never going to find the time. Okay, like if you're an adult with adult responsibilities, you're never going to find the time to get any of this stuff done. You have to make the time, and that's why calendars are important, right? You mapping out what needs to get done when, and I mean, it doesn't have to be where you're like some superhuman and you are perfectly sticking to the calendar, but enough to know that you're getting enough done, right? So that if you fall off sometimes and you're like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna have to just kind of deter off the calendar today. It's okay, right? But you've got some form of direction. It's helpful in that sense, but it's also helpful in the sense of sometimes we're like trying to figure out what we should do today. But if you've got a structured calendar, you don't have to do that. You can look at the calendar and the calendar will tell you this is what needs to happen today. This is why calendars are amazing, right? So a day that maybe you're focused on writing, in that book, a day that maybe you're focused on, preparing some social media content, a day where you're focused on, interviewing people for your podcast, being more intentional with putting things in spaces, making the time versus always wishing and praying and hoping that you can find the time, honestly, is a better way to go when it comes to push that 5-point productivity plan. And again, when I say push, it is all about pursuing until success happens. Push. Push. Now, I'm going to say a couple of things. Number one, if there are places in your life, specifically in your online business, where you're feeling challenged and not as productive, feel free to check in with me. You can drop that into the comment box or even email sistasense@gmail.com and say, LaShonda, real talk, this is where I am right now. I need to get more done relatively quickly. I'm really feeling behind and overwhelmed and all of that. We can chat. We can talk. Either you can, again, email sistasense@gmail.com, or we can do a 90 seconds of mentorship. Literally, if you were to go to sistasense.com, you can click the gray tab on the right of the website to send me a 90-second voice message, and I can send one right back to you. That's number two. Number three, I have created something fabulous. It's called the Get Unstuck Challenge, so that I can talk to you about 3 things that you need to do to get unstuck so that literally your success can start to stick. The Get Unstuck Challenge, it's an audio series with some complimentary training, and you can learn more about that over at sistasense.com/get unstuck. The link should be in the description as well. Okay. So when it comes to this 5-point push productivity plan, today, thus far, I've talked to you about thinking about your projects versus tasks, thinking about today versus someday, thinking about the essential things you need to do versus everything that's overwhelming you, thinking about your calendar versus chaos, right? Chaos is when you just have no schedule at all. You just go flying by the seat of your pants, right? I can squeeze in a little bit of time here. I can squeeze. No. We're not going to find the time. We're not going to squeeze in the time. We're going to strategically and intentionally make the time. So calendars versus chaos. Number 4. Point number 5 is bulk tasking versus knockout list. Bulk tasking versus knockout list. This is one of my honest to goodness favorites. There are times when you've got to really figure out how you're going to get a lot of things done in a finite period of time. Strategy for me, number 1, is bulk tasking. So that's when let's say, for example, I need to write several blog posts, or I need to create several pieces of audio content or graphic content. I'm going to bulk it. I'm going to do multiple pieces in one fell swoop, right? Maybe 6 hours or 10 hours, or, over the course of 3 days, I'm just going to sit and intentionally create as much content as I can, so then I can automate and schedule it and put it out there without having to go, oh, I'm going to do it every day, or I'm going to do it every other day, because a lot of times we say that, but we don't do it. Like, raise your hand. How many things have you said, yeah, I'm gonna get to the point where I do it every day or every 2 weeks or every Friday, and you fall off, right? You don't stick to that. Self-discipline is so important, which honestly is why I do these daily web classes. I've been doing these daily web classes, by the way, since the ending of last year. So to be clear, I've been doing this for, I think, maybe about, at this point, 7, 8 months, going on 9 months now. And for me, it's not just about visibility, although I love to be here and visible. Mind you, make sure that you share this out if you're enjoying the series. And of course, tap on the thumbs up and the hearts and the love. Give me some hearts and some thumbs up and, all that good stuff if you're enjoying not only this session today, but these daily web classes. But I say that to say this, for me, doing them daily is about self-discipline. If we want to lose weight, if we want to get certain things done in our business, if we want to see certain things happen in our lives, we have to be self-disciplined. So in order to work that or have like a self-discipline hack when you're trying to make certain things a habit, when you cannot do something on a daily or weekly or commit to it on a very consistent basis, bulk tasking is like sprinting for me. So for a short period of time, you can be amazing. You can get a lot done and then make the most of what you've gotten in that period of time. Stretch it, make the most of it. So bulk tasking versus knockout lists, which I absolutely love. Knockout list is when you basically make a short list of things that you can do in anywhere between an hour to 3 hours, right? And then you just knock it out. Like, I got to call these people, follow up with these emails. I've got to create this, I've got to update that. I've got to cancel this, and just make a short list of stuff that you could knock out, right? I love knockout lists because, sometimes you're in a place where you can raise your hand and let me know if you ever feel guilty because you're not doing enough, right? Or you feel like there's so much to do, you don't know where to start. So when you come up with a knockout list of short things, maybe this thing takes 5 minutes, this one takes 10 minutes, that took 15, that took 20, this one took you 30. When you come up with this list and you can say, oh my gosh, wow, I got 5 or 10 things done in the last couple of hours, or, I did these 3 things and I've been saying I'm gonna do these things and I did them and I called them and I created those, I made those appointments, I ordered that thing, I feel so much better, you feel accomplished, and that can get you out of the guilt zone into the accomplished, motivated zone. I did this, now let me move forward and do that. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of my private clients and she said, you know what, LaShonda, I've really been feeling these last couple of weeks stagnant and stuck and depleted. And a few people in my world did things to me that were really devastating me. And so she was in like a depression-like state, knowing there were things that she wanted to do, but honestly didn't want to do them. Right. And so number one, having somebody supportive to listen was important because I was there in our clarity call session. And then number two, I helped her itemize some things that you can do and knock out over the course of several days. And literally after the call, she was like, okay, LaShonda, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And in 2 weeks, because we had one call and then 2 weeks later, we had another call. She said, man, I've gotten you subscribers. I'm doing my live stream. I'm working on my product. She's like, my gosh, thank you so much. That was definitely what I needed. That push, right? Pursue until success happened, to kind of get back into the swing of things, get out of, the funky feelings, the emotion, the analysis paralysis, and move forward. So I want you to think about bulk tasking versus knockout lists and how you can use those strategies to move forward in your business. And like I mentioned before, if you're wanting to explore some kiss, keep it seriously, things, simple things that you guys can do to work on your productivity, right? And for some of you, your procrastination too, feel free to go over to sistasense.com/get unstuck. It's literally one of the best training challenges I've ever put together, where you can listen to 3 things that you need to unblock so that you can move forward, right, in your business, in your life, and just overall in general. If you are challenged with things taking longer than you would like them to because you find yourself oftentimes stuck and blocked, right? So learn more about the Get Unstuck Challenge, great audio series / training over at sistasense.com/get unstuck. I'm going to recap the 5-point plan, the push productivity plan that I shared today. But before I do, number one, if you've enjoyed this session and or other ones that I do as far as these daily web class series, can you tap? Can you, not just one, like not just like tap. Can you tap on the thumbs up, the hearts, the likes, the love? Give me some love. Give me some love. And of course, if you're catching me on the replay side, drop into the comment box, #replays rock. Share this out, tag some business besties who would love to learn about money, marketing, sales, motivation, productivity too, because I do this all day, every day. And of course, last but least, if you want to check in with me, feel free to email sistasense@gmail.com. So all right, y'all, day number 5, 5-point push productivity plan. In a nutshell, we said point 1 was tasks versus projects. Point two was today versus someday. Point three was ET essential things versus everything. Point three was calendars versus chaos. And point five, well, that was four. And point five was bulk tasking versus knockout lists. So there you go, your 5-point productivity plan. Give yourself some time to sit down and have a PCS personal clarity session so that you can get clear about what you need to do to get more done in strategic and intentional ways. And of course, if you ever wanted to get on a phone with me so that you and I can talk one-on-one, feel free to go over to callme.sistasense.com. So, all right, y'all. Mwah. Kiss, keep it seriously simple. Overwhelmed entrepreneurs, I'll be back with another strategy as we continue the Kiss Week, day 6. That's tomorrow. Till then, take care, y'all. Bye.